Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So, sister, have you ever had something that you do that maybe begins to not quite feel the same way anymore? Like, I'll give you a couple examples. I remember, when was this? Maybe, I always think, if you're a parent, you think in terms of like how old your kids were at the time. I want to say it was probably 6 years ago. My oldest son is 7.5. He'll be 8 towards the end of this year. So, I think it's probably 6 years ago that, I kept saying all the time of how, I love to read. And I had really fallen off with reading. And to me, reading nonfiction is about learning. It's about constantly growing and expanding. And I would go, I'm going to read tonight at night before bed. And then, you know what it's like if you read before bed, at least for me. It'd be like I read a couple pages, if that. I'm starting to nod off. I'm so tired. And like, I would never really get through a book. And I just have the stacks of books sitting by the bedside table. You know what I mean? And so I said, look, if I really want to actually read more books like I used to, then I have to carve out more time. And perhaps that means that I have to create more time. And that means I'm going to have to give something up. So I was like, you know what? I'm not watching TV anymore. I'm done. I'm not watching TV anymore. Because when I took a look at my time, I was like, I spent a lot of time watching TV. So I was like, that's it. No TV. We still watch like movies occasionally, that kind of thing. But I was like, I'm not doing TV anymore. Like, it's just done. And I read an hour a day. Now, that first year, I think I read 39 books. So I was like, well, I'll read a book a month. So it was like beginning of the year, and I had like already said like, here's all my books for the year. I'd done the first 6 months, and then I was on Pinterest more than, so like, pin them all up. Like, here's the books I'm reading, and then I started to actually consume more like 3 books a month, not just one, because I committed to reading an hour a day. Sometimes it would be over my lunch hour, it'd be a full hour. Other times, and I would read as I was eating. Other times it would be like half in the morning, 15 minutes later in the day, 15 minutes, I would carve out that hour, however it was going to look on that particular day. That was it. And so why am I sharing this? I had a reason as to why, like, this is a really good story of why. Oh shit. What happened after, I think, 5 months, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to a couple of my favorite shows. And one that I really loved at the time was a reality show, and I don't know if it's still around, which is called So You Think You Can Dance. And so, it's like American Idol, but for dancing, right? Like, I loved it. I loved seeing these kids, especially the ones that had, like, no dance background training. And they were maybe they would be hip-hoppers or B-boys or something. Like, they were just like street dancers, right? And learned on their own, like self-taught kind of thing. And then they would go in these competitions and crush. Like, it was just so cool to see these like kids that are the underdogs, right? Everyone loves the underdog. And so I'm like, I'm gonna go back to watching the show again. So it was May, so it was like coming back on, at least the time that year. And I think I didn't watch it live, but I recorded it. And then I go to watch it, and I'm maybe 10 minutes, and I'm like, this doesn't feel the same anymore. Like, I'm fucking not interested. And I'm literally watching this going, I can be doing something else with my time that I actually value greater than this. And it didn't feel the same anymore. So I literally have not watched TV since that time. Now, I still watch, so let me kind of, a caveat with that. I still watch one show, like, and we'll watch recordings of it. We'll go to Apple TV, or like, hey, is there new episodes? Which is a show called Modern Family, which is, oh my God, if you haven't watched Modern Family, it's the best fucking show. But like, that's it. My kids watch TV. More like my 4.5-year-old. My oldest boy doesn't. He's more into his video games right now and Minecraft and all that. But, yeah. Like, I was just done with it. It just didn't feel the same anymore. And so, like, right now I'm just dropped off my kids at school and daycare, heading to the chiropractic office for my weekly alignment, then I'm heading to boxing. And I've had a couple of weeks off because of an injury. If you've been listening to the podcast, I've been talking about what's been going on with that. So I'm not going to repeat it, but because of the injury. And I came back Tuesday night, an evening class. Not class, but like during when there's group classes going on, but doing a private training session with my coach Rob. And it's funny because I came back and actually met my husband afterwards, because we have a sitter Tuesday nights to watch the kids, and we're either like doing stuff for ourselves or maybe a little bit of work. And he was like, "How was boxing?" I'm like, "It's okay." I'm like, it's kind of like, it kind of doesn't feel the same. I don't know how to describe it, but certainly a piece of that too is I have a lot of intrepidation about my leg, because it's been injured several times now over the last year. And it's greatly affected my quality of life every single time. I felt really like emotionally almost on like the edge of tears, like almost like holding back tears, thinking of what's going to happen if this does this again, and is the pleasure and the outcome, the results I get from boxing, is this worthwhile for what could potentially happen again, right? However, I have decided that I'm not going to compete. Like, that's it. It's just, I want my body to last a really long period of time, and I want my body on a regular basis. And I love the results from training. I like the power it gives me. But so today I'm going for the second time since that. And it also might have been too of walking in the energy of the gym when there's like classes going around. It's all like just young, mostly dudes, right? So very testosterone feel. I remember when I went from doing just private classes where it's just me and Rob in the little small gym to then coming into group classes, and just that energy was like, like it was a little bit of adjustment, kind of getting used to that energy. And I'm not so certain that I like it and it serves me anymore. And so I'm starting to have questions, whereas I'm like, well, is boxing going to still feel the same for me? Like, I don't know. And if I'm training, but not for the purpose of actually like competing and fighting, because that was my reason for training, I kind of have this, I'm like, well, what's the point? And I said to my husband, Ed, and he's like, well, you can still train. Like, you don't have to compete. I'm like, I know, but that was the whole thing of why I was doing this, So I don't know if it feels the same anymore. And I'm not closing the door. It's, I'm still very open to that. I know even when I set up with my coach, Rob, like, usually I would pay for about 30 sessions at a time, one-on-one sessions, and send him an e-transfer for that. And he's like, hey, you've kind of gone over. Can you send a transfer? I'm like, cool. I go, let's just do 10. Because I don't know, I feel this like just this massive shift inside of me right now that I don't know if it's going to feel the same for me anymore. And I'm kind of bummed about that. Now, again, I'm not totally hanging my hat onto it because I've been back one time, right? But I'm not 100% sure. And that's okay. But it might not feel the same anymore. So, you may be going through something in your life where it's like, this can be something that's applied to, not something maybe as, we're going to say trivial, but not trivial, but, like a workout, right? Like how you train your body, but maybe it could be with a relationship, right? You could be a friendship you've been holding on to for years just because you think that you should, or you went to high school with them, or they were in your wedding, or, your kids play together, and you're just like, it just doesn't feel the same anymore. I had a friend of mine that I knew back in Alberta when we both lived there, and then she moved out here to the island, and I happened to kind of bump into her, and we were like, hey, we gotta meet, and then it took a while for us to actually get together and meet, and we did, and it was the same kind of thing. It was like, that doesn't feel the same anymore. I mean, she's still a lovely woman, like, she's great, but it didn't feel the same. We were both different people, or I'm different, and maybe she's, like, I don't know, it doesn't really matter, it's not relevant. But it doesn't feel the same anymore. And it's funny, I was thinking about her the day. I'm like, I wonder how she's doing. And it's like, I should reach out to her. And it was like, no, it just doesn't feel the same anymore. And that's okay. So let me get right to the more tip for you today. What is happening in your life right now that there's something that you're doing which just doesn't feel the same anymore? Could be a relationship, like I mentioned. It could be something with your body. It could be something that you're doing within business. I'm taking a pause for a couple months here over the summer because I'm just reaching this point where I feel like if I don't take a break, I'm going to break down. And there's some things with business that just don't feel the same anymore. Still love the podcast. I love this way of being able to connect with you. But there's some other things that don't. And so as opposed to me to keep doing things when they don't feel the same and I'm not having as much fun with them anymore, it's important that I pause and take this time to just like really reflect and to start to listen more to the voice inside as to like, should I still be doing this? So what is it for you, sister? What is it that you're doing that just doesn't feel the same anymore, but you just keep doing it because you think this is what you're supposed to do? You're obligated. Like all of this, right? And I want you to take one page in your journal, more if you want, and journal about this. Like, what are you seeing from this for you? Where do you want to go from here? See, for me, when it comes to boxing, it's like, well, again, I'm not going to like, throw in the towel after that one time. And, my leg was like feeling quite a bit better. It's been a couple weeks now. And then it's like, I wake up this morning walking the dogs. I'm like, it's feeling really tweak my knee again. I'm like, fuck. But, I'm going to like take it easy and listen to my body and stuff. But I'm going to give it some space and some time to really figure this out. And I'm doing more things when it comes to my health where I'm getting in the pool more. And I did a stand-up paddleboard lesson a week ago. And now I have a board and live across the street from the ocean. And so I want to get in the water like 2-3 times a week and paddleboard. Just kind of like trying out new things to see what might feel better or different or complement to boxing or whatever. But there's some action I have to take because if I continue to just keep doing the same thing, it's like, but doesn't feel the same anymore, it's not serving me. Listen, sister, your life is meant to be like, you feel lit up in the things that you do. And if you're not, you really got to question that. So that is your more tip. So finishing up, sister, I want to make sure you subscribe to the podcast. If you don't already, hit that subscribe button in iTunes or Stitcher. And make sure that you're getting all 5 episodes, Monday through Friday, delivered directly to your phone with those notifications. So you'll just be like, hey, new episode, cool, I can listen to it. And you don't miss out. Okay, also make sure to leave a 5-star review on iTunes. I would greatly appreciate if you help me connect with more women and we can help to get this message out to them. So just like maybe you found the podcast somehow or someone told you about it, you pay it forward and do the same and leave a review by actually doing that. Number 2, make sure to join the sisterhood. Right now you can actually join for 7 days for free, for that 7-day free trial, and really be around other powerful women that'll like you, that want similar things. And make sure to get in the newsletter. Sister, holy shit, some of you still don't subscribe to the newsletter. Like, you're missing out. There's some things I drop in the newsletter that's only for the Women Wanting More tribe there. So in order for you to get it, head over to drkarenosborn.com/action guide, and I'm going to send you some cool gifts at the same time. So I will talk to you in the next episode. A life of more is just one step away from you doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosborn.com/newsletter.